I'm going to record this. Welcome to ANP1. Maybe if you can take your screen, maybe we can see each other's faces and you can unmute. Let me unmute all. Manage participants here. Unmute all. And I thought we would chit chat a little bit. I've got the syllabus up on the screen. I just want to see everyone's face. Say hello, wave to me so I know you can hear me.
Hello.
Oh, you can. Okay, very good. I can hear you now. Let's see. Maybe we can introduce each other. My name's Dr. Demplet. I'll be your professor for the summer, ANP 1 and 2, if you're going to take 2. I don't know. Half of you are signed up for 2, half are not. It's a little, I'll be very blunt. It's a little awkward being online because, many of us have not met each other. I see Cameron. Hello there. I see Madeline. I see Nia. There are a variety of new people. There's Sky. Hello. Why don't you wave to us, Sky? I got your message for the book. I'm giving you 3 points on the first exam for getting the book because you got to have the book. Tanya, you want to say hi to everyone?
Hello, everyone.
Hey there. And you don't have to keep your video on all the time. I want to just introduce each other and let's see. Taylor, why don't you go next?
Hi, everyone.
Hi there. And let's see, just going down the list here. Matt Murphy, you want to say hi?
Hello.
Okay, hey there. Deandra, I haven't met you either. I'm doing all the people I haven't met, okay? Deandra Oliver, how are you doing? Oh, there, yeah. No. Kayla Kohout?
Hi.
Sounds like a familiar name. All right. Imani, you I know. And
Hi.
hey there. And let's go back. We've got Madeline. You want to wave to everyone?
Hi.
All right. Let's see. Did I forget anyone? Okay. The issue is Cameron. Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah. Good. What I want to do today, let's see, Deandra, I have the chat room open at all times, okay? Deandra says she can't hear anything, so I just want to make sure I address everyone's needs here. I don't see an audio on Deandra's, so I'm just going to type, I don't see your audio. I'm going to record these on YouTube, all right? So that in the event someone misses a lecture, it'll be on YouTube. I haven't ever done that. And let me just introduce you. My name is Dr. Demplet. For those of you who have not had me, and there's only a couple that have had me, we have 14 people. I want to make this as easy as possible on us. A&P in the summer, I've traditionally taught on campus. I've never actually taught an online class until last semester, and it went pretty well. I enjoyed it. The students seemed to have a good review of it. I think you can learn a lot of information. I think you can get the same experience, but it's never exactly the same. And I'm going to share the screen and lecture to you for the lecture portion. So we'll Zoom lecture each week. My intent, we have 10 total lectures actually during the year. And each week, we follow the syllabus and we'll do a lecture. And it's the lab that's a bit different. I just sent you 2 of the labs. I'm going to send you between 1 and 2 labs a week so that we fulfill our lab requirements. A&P is actually not bad to do online because a lot of it is remembering parts of the body. They're kind of all taken-home labs. It's just that it's less motivating. Like during lab, I will do gatekeepers. Those of you who had my class, we interact more. For some people, maybe it works. For some people, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But I will tell you that ultimately, it's up to you following the directives and objectives of each lab in the lab manual to learn the material. Like, for example, I'm going to go over the 52 regions, the different planes of the body, all of that in the lab. The manual goes hand in hand with the emailed handouts that I have. All right? And so that's where I'm at with the lab. So, okay, I'm going to go over the syllabus shortly. and I just want to take any questions that you may have. You can, feel free to ask. You can send it in the chat room too. And our agenda today is to go over, the scope of the course with the syllabus. And tomorrow I want to start with the first lecture on the language of anatomy. All right, and then the next lecture will be on the chemistry. That'll be on Thursday. And then next week we'll do cell bio, and then we'll have a test. And we have a total of 15 meetings, right? Each class. A&P 1 15 meetings, A&P 2 15 meetings. And in a way, I love it because we don't have to travel. We would have to be running all over the place for this class, and it's a pain. But in another way, I really want us to meet. Are all of you is anyone not going to SUNY Delhi? I think Matt is the only one not, right? Matt Murphy? Everyone else is going to be at SUNY Delhi in the fall?
Oh, no, I'm not going.
Who? Could you say who you are?
Imani.
Oh, Imani, you're done, but you were at Delhi. Well,
Yeah.
I was hoping we could all meet in person when the class is over and have like a pizza party, but only if it's feasible. I don't know. It's nice to, see you all at one point because we're going through a journey. You're learning the fundamental course, the foundation of your allied health career, or even your phys ed career, right? I think, Matt, you're a phys ed major. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it's the fundamental, you'll always remember A&P. That's what you're going to teach. Even if you're phys ed major, you're going to teach some health. The rest of you guys, every nurse, PT is a teacher in a way. So you'll always remember, and I kind of want to have a pizza party at the end, but let's see how that goes. It's a little like, I think that A&P and all courses should be on campus in person. I really believe that. But in a world where, it's not possible, this is in lieu of that. So anyway, my point is we don't have to have the pizza party, but maybe we'll make it optional at the end. What other goodies? Let's go through and go to the screen, all right? I'm going to mute everyone. I hope you don't mind. I'm going to mute everyone and go through the syllabus. You can ask in the chat room questions. And then when we're done with the syllabus, I'll unmute everyone and we can do, questions. Do you have any questions for me so far? You're welcome to ask.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I have the book from last semester. When does that expire? Because if I don't have to rebuy it, I'm not going to rebuy it.
Yeah, of course not. No, let me think. All right, so you bought it January, February, March, April, May, June. I think you may be able to get by without it. I think so.
Okay.
I think so. The code should last.
Okay.
I think so. Unless they, you know what? I don't know. We can ask the publisher.
Okay.
You can why don't you email the publisher and see when does it expire? Because I know how they are. We'll leave it at that, where they want you to buy. So if you can get away with it, that'd be good.
Okay.
I thought it's 6 months, but maybe it's by semester and then they just get rid of it. I don't know.
That's what I thought too, because for the fall semester, it expired, I think it was like 2 weeks into the second semester.
And was that 6 months or no?
Yeah, something like that. So
if you can get away with it, I always say save money.
yeah.
The lab manual is the same. Those of you who have the lab manual, just keep the lab manual. I wrote the lab manual and I wrote the book. I went into a writing career, and that's, we can talk about myself. I don't want to talk a lot about it, but that's, writing is very solitary and I'm a very social person. So I like the teaching. This is new for me. So we're socializing through the computer. I don't know. It's weird, but it's also kind of cool. So it's a new and fun experience. And I think you like A&P Online. Let me go over the syllabus so you know the expectations, then we'll have something to talk about. I'll manage you guys. Let me, Deandra, did you get, can you hear now or no?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, that's good. From me to everyone, I don't see your audio. Okay, that's me writing. Okay, and, okay, let me get this. I'll mute all and then we'll march on. Okay. Okay. Let me go to the screen. Wait a minute. Sorry about that. I just have to. Let's see. Sorry about that. I'm just having a little difficulty. I'm getting used to some of these Zoom. Okay, here we go. These Zoom buttons here. Okay. Let's get the screen. All right. Hopefully everyone can see the screen. Can you see the screen? Yes, right? You can see the, can you see the syllabus, Taylor? If you can see the syllabus, put your thumbs up. You cannot see the syllabus. Okay. Okay, can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. Good. Okay. All right, here we go. So, okay, welcome to summer 2020. It's a 4-credit course. Our meeting time is 9 o'clock, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You could say it's 9 to 11:30, but really it's going to be 9 to 10. And you can budget for about an hour. If we go over, which we might, we want to go, you know, our technical time is 9 to 11:30. That's our lecture time with breaks in between, but that is during on-campus session. So our sessions will be about 9 to 10 o'clock in the morning. And that's primarily because Zoom lectures go a lot faster. So I lecture through the material, I take questions, and as a result, it goes faster than if we were in the classroom. And the classroom is very different. You take attendance, you have questions and answers, and group activities is a very different strategy. So it will be about 1 hour. I think you'll be happy with that. However, I'm more than happy to go after the 10 o'clock hour for questions. And I will every week send you 1 or 2 labs, depending on the week and the material of the lab. This week I sent you an introduction to the language of anatomy, and I sent you an introduction to microscopy. And they have, each of these labs that I email you are guides on how to use the lab manual. In other words, we go objective by objective with the lab, and there's little YouTube links to demonstrate some of the principles of the lab. I toyed with getting you a kit so that you could have a kidney and you could have a little mini skeleton, but it would cost you $500 basically, $250 a semester. And you can give me feedback if you want it. It's esciencelabs.com. They're not bad labs, but it makes things more complicated. I feel like if we just go from our lab manual and if we just go from our email, it makes this course easier. I'm trying to make it as easy as possible on both yourself and myself to get the material across to you and not get it confused with a commercial lab. But that's something to reflect on at the end of the course. You know, do we want specimens in front of us, and is it worth the $500 out of your pocket? I don't know. I go back and forth. Now we got to use the pictures. I use getbodysmart.com as a advice I give to you for interactive anatomy. You can always go to that site, getbodysmart.com, along with your lab to see the bones in different perspectives. So it's a virtual world, and you know, I could send you a pig at home, like I said, and do the dissection. I'm not sure I want to go down that road. We will reflect on that at the end of the course, on what you think you got out of it, and if you think that would be helpful. So just keep that in the back of your mind, because I toy with these things. And I went back and forth, and I almost did it, have you buy a kit, but I said, let's just go from the manual, from the virtual getbodysmart.com, and from the YouTube links that I have to give you that real life experience. It's not the same as me and you with a microscope looking at something and giggling around, but it is, that's an online lab. It's a little more solitary and a lot less aggravation running back and forth to the lab. So pros and cons. Anyway, We will therefore have class Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 9 to 10, and leave wiggle room at the end. We will also test at those times. We have approximately 10 lectures and approximately 5 tests. And we have 15 meetings, as you know. 3 days a week for 5 weeks is 15 meetings. So I have everything scripted and orchestrated just so, and I think you'll like this online course. Now, I like us to meet because I want it, I guess they call it synchronous online class. That means we meet so we can be interactive back and forth, and I can get, we can see each other. If for some reason you can't make it, then I'm going to try this YouTube upload and see how it works. Right after class, I'm going to do that with our syllabus. Tomorrow we'll start our first lecture, okay, at 9 o'clock, 9 to 10. And it's the same format all the time. I introduce, we chit-chat a little first, and then I go on to the lecture. I mute you, and I go through the lecture, and then at the end I take questions. And I also have the chat room on in order to take any, if there's problems. In fact, Taylor just asked, do you want us to keep our video open at all times? It's up to you. I don't micromanage. I believe in freedom. I would probably leave it open so you can, you don't have to have your own video on, because I kind of take you off the screen because it's distracting, and I look at what is screen shared. So like I'm looking at the syllabus right now. So you can take your video off and, start cooking lunch or something like that. I don't know. You can do other things. So that's okay with me. Okay, so that's the class meeting time. We include testing. For the tests, I will email you questions. You get about a minute a question. Okay, you get about a minute a question. So if I give you 40 questions, you got 40 minutes. If I give you 25 questions, you got 25 minutes. The nurses, I work for the nursing department. I'm not a nurse. I'm a PhD. I have a PhD, therefore I'm a doctor, and I'm not an MD, but I'm a PhD, and my specialty is, allied health. So I just want to say that I have directives from the nurses that you get a minute a question. Review sheets we don't want to do. It's a good question because we'll do just general question and answer. I don't do review sheets because it's open book. That's why. So it's a different format than during the year. During the year, it's closed book, and I give a review sheet. But now, being that there's an open book, that's it. So yeah, I think, let's see. And then Madeline asks, will we have to be on Zoom during our test hour or before them? Yes, you have to be on Zoom during that test hour. And we'll have 5 tests. We'll have 3 exams for the lecture and 2 lab exams. So it makes a total of 5, and everything's worth 20%. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I better get down to the grading real fast because people want to know about that. But let me get, the basics. All right, so Carnegie units. We're 4 Carnegie units, 3 for lab, 3 for lecture. So you have a total of 4 credit hours, this is. Again, my name is Dr. Peter Demplay. This is my email. Email is probably the best way to get a hold of me. We don't want to do a lot of Zoom meetings outside of, although I can do it, outside of our 3 days a week. Emailing is probably better. But it's a small class, and that's nice. So we can Zoom, do whatever we want at any time. But I think email is probably easier. Office, I don't think you care about it, Sanford 211A. But you should visit me if you're in the program. We see each other face to face. And office phone, don't bother calling the office phone because I'm home. So email is the best. But I have to put all that in. And office hours are online. So it's a weird thing, but no one ever comes to my office hour anyway during office hours at campus. All right, so course description. We're going to look at, through lecture and lab, we're going to look at the organization, support, movement, and control systems of the human body. And then we discuss the disruption of homeostasis. What's homeostasis? Homeostasis is the maintaining of a steady state. Your temperature, your blood pH, your sugar level, all have to be maintained to keep you alive. And so what is the disruption of homeostasis? One word, disease, and that is a focus of our course. how things work normally versus the disease that is affiliated with the normal workings. So student learning outcomes, students will demonstrate understanding of the science methods, science concepts. That just is inherent in the course. I had to put the student learning outcomes in there because that's the state's requirement. Our more specific objectives, and I don't want you to have to bother reading these objectives, but obviously we're knowing basic anatomy and physiology in personal and professional applications. We're employing vocabulary. It's a lot of vocabulary in your first lab, and I will always go over your labs each week. I think I'm gonna email it to you just like today on Tuesday, and then we'll talk about it Tuesday and spend a little time. But I think ultimately we'll keep it relaxed where you can ask questions and we go over the material one day at a time, so to speak. Okay, if you just read over bioethical dilemmas come up, microscopic and gross anatomy. We basically start the course more microscopic. In other words, we look at the cell, we look at the physics and chemistry behind allied health. You got to know what an ion is. What does it mean to shoot someone up with potassium chloride? You got to know that. But we continue on to the skin, to the bones, to the muscles, to the nerves, and that's A&P1. We do a systems approach where each system is treated, and we look at the unique interaction between the systems and how that creates a beautiful life, which is us, versus the diseases that always ensue. And, we talk about the latest research, and we do a little collaborative work even online. I'm going to take chat room questions. I'm going to pose questions to you. I'm going to try doing some polling. And that is send out questions to you, but we'll see about that. I don't want to do a lot of that. I'd rather keep it more cool and relaxed. Let's talk about the exams. The exams are objective, multiple choice, true, false, and matching. That's how it's going to be. And I email you, and you email me back an answer sheet, and I grade it by hand. That's how I'm going to do it. A lot of the other methods really don't work. Zoom, zip grading online. I looked into a whole bunch of ways. But anyway, as far as we're concerned, at 9 o'clock on the test date, there'll be 5 total test dates, 2 practicals and 3 exams. You will be emailed, a test, multiple choice, true, false matching. It'll be on the readings and the lecture notes. I almost always test you from the lecture notes, okay? But I reserve the right to test from the book too. So you want to be reading the book. If you don't have the book, you're really in trouble. You got to read the book. And even if you have the old code, I want you to email me the code. Basically for the new people, get a new code. You can go to the Kendall Hunt website or to the bookstore and get a code. Email me the code, and then I give you 3 points for getting the reading material. If you don't read, you don't pass. That's how it works. I mean, basically, people who don't read, they lack the critical knowledge, especially online. And I wrote the lab manual, and I wrote the textbook. And I wrote the lecture notes, and I wrote the books from the lecture notes. So it all really fits hand in hand. And I went into, I don't want to talk a lot about that, but I did go into my own writing career. And, I wrote some books, Good Science, Bad Science. It's out in the general public. That particular book does well. So if you ever want to know about writing, I'm the person to ask. But, I'm first and foremost a teacher. And I did it mainly so that, my own students have everything really in order for their study. But those books are fully available that's the way you make money, to be pretty honest. You've got to sell books and have clients and customers, and that's what I've got. And I'm working on a new edition of the textbook and all that. I will put my students in the book as an acknowledgement, but that's my writing career aspect and my teaching aspect. I've been at and I should tell you a little about myself before we go on to the exams. I have a PhD from SUNY Albany, master's, biology, microbial ecology, biological materials like collagen study. So a lot of micro and anatomy and phys is in my background. And so I went to Hartwick College undergrad, got a scholarship there, originally come from Queens, but we moved upstate here in the Catskills 30 years ago. And I've taught, I've taught for 25 years, for a long time. So you're getting someone who's taught, but, I'm old, and so I have taught through, where we used to use typewriters, typewritten tests, and now I'm online. So it's a lot of adjustments for me. So you have to be a little bit patient with the online teaching. But on the other hand, it's new and a little bit fun. I'm pretty good with the computer. So I have a Mac, and, that's a little of my own history. My own background was biological materials, and I went to SUNY Albany. So I wanted to tell you that. I've been at the college, I would say, almost 20 years. So it's been a long time. I'm, really, in a way, the senior member of the science department. But I'm with the nurses, and they're a lot of fun. So I feel like the nurses have it's the year of the nurse, as they say, and I'm in their school as their specialist in A&P. So I'm their advisor in that department. So that's my role at the college. Okay, so that's a little of my own history. Why am I doing this online? Because of the virus. We can't meet in person. But I am also doing it because I may do summer every year online, because it's a long trip to go to the college, and I'm trying to refine it and see what works, what doesn't. Last semester, some things worked, some things didn't, and now I think this will be a more refined online A&P. So I'm looking forward to teaching you it. This is a little bit different because I'm talking to a screen, but I know you're there. That's why I want to see your face. Now I know who I'm dealing with, so I appreciate that. And we can talk with each other. I think it'll be a little bit of fun, Okay, I don't give makeups under any circumstances. I don't want any cheating. We follow the nursing school's policy. If you're a nurse, you get an automatic 0 if I find that you're cheating. When I email you the test, do it yourself. You don't have anyone else do it, and you don't share answers with each other, because people do talk, and then you get ratted out, and then you can get a 0 for the whole course. All right, I can pursue that. I don't want that. I want you to do your own work. As it is, you can use your book and you can use your notes. This is a different way of studying. So again, let me address the tests. There's 3 tests from the Zoom lectures. I repeat, 3 tests from the Zoom lectures. They'll be between 25 and 40 questions. That's what I decided, which means you'll get a half hour or 45 minutes, something like that, to do it. It's not going to be a rush to do it, but I can't give you too much time because it encourages cheating. That's a problem. On the other hand, you are at home doing it, and I don't want you to be in a panic. But it'll be about a minute a question, and the tests will be taken mostly from the notes and the readings. All from the notes and the readings, mostly from the notes. And you're well geared for it. We'll go through the material, and the readings really support the lectures. Okay, that's why it's very important that you read. I'd like you to start reading for tomorrow's lecture, so that you don't come in and are overwhelmed. Do the readings. There are little questions at the end of each chapter. So, again, to repeat, 3 exams, and I will email you the exam during a specified time between 9 and 10, either Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. All right? And that's how that's going to be. It says, can we use our notes during the exam? Yes, I can't enforce you not using the notes. You have to use the notes. I would use the notes during the exam and the textbook. But, open book, like if I ask you a question like, okay, what is buccal? Buccal means cheek. All right, you'll know that by tomorrow or when you do your lab. You can look it up. And I think that's not a bad thing. I don't think that's horrible. I do not allow it during the year, but with online, this is a different way of learning. So you don't have to be a memorizing machine. You have to be familiar with it. Like you have to be familiar with the 52 regions, but you would be able to look it up. But in the interest of time, the more you know, the better it is. So if you memorize it and you don't have to spend all that time looking it up, it is better. Okay, so I still want you to memorize and learn your material, but you will have the book there as support. Let me take a couple of questions because the tests always get tons of questions. Do we email the answer sheet back to you from Taylor when the time is up for the exam? Exactly. You have to email it. I'm going to email you, let's say, 40 questions, and in 40 minutes, you got to email it back. All right? So that's how we do it. And Tanya asked, is it open book? It is open book because I can't really enforce it. I could, I don't want to go through all this proctoring of you and watching you while you take the test. It's okay if you look up the answer. But I will tell you should memorize. And I will, follow the directives that I tell you. You should remember things so you don't have to mess around with all kinds of fumbling through the book, So you still have to study and do all the work. But I think it makes it a little more relaxed having an open book. Okay. Let's move on to participation and attendance. Format of the class is mainly Zoom lecture. And as you can see, we've spent a half an hour. It goes very quickly. Unprofessional is disruptive behaviors on Zoom will be reported to the SON. I don't think we're going to have that. May result in removal of the class. That's if you're really disruptive, want to make trouble. You should try to mute it if you are having a lot of background noise. So you gotta want to mute yourself because we don't want to be disruptive of other people. But I think most of I want you to regularly participate in the course. I don't want to be having people that just don't participate because you're gonna drift away and not know what we're doing. And I don't want to answer a lot of questions when we went over the material already. Okay, so your regular participation is vital for success in the course. Lab assignments are take-home labs. I repeat, I'm going to highlight it, take-home labs. Now, you've just been given 2 take-home labs. I write that 2 labs will be sent per week. I'm thinking, 2 a week on average. Some weeks will only be 1, but we'll cover all of our labs. And you have to use the lab manual and the interactive websites on my take-home labs, which generally articulate with the topics of the course. So tomorrow we're going to do the language of anatomy, the intro to anatomy, and that's the lab. And then we're going to move on to chemistry in the cell, and you have a micro lab this week. And, click on the YouTube links, go through the lab. The lab is written for an in-person lab, but a lot of it is applied. And I'd probably skip a couple of objectives that you just cannot apply at home. Like the microscope, we just don't do a couple of the objectives. We do, whatever I think is necessary. So that's why I give you the take-home labs to guide you through the manual. Okay, I repeat, I will send take-home labs 1 or 2 a week to guide you through the lab manual. And yeah. Okay, there's 2 lab practicals, 1 midterm, 1 final lab practical, and that is how the lab grade will be. And there again, multiple choice, true, false, matching, whatever have you. All right, and you use the lab manual for those practicals. So again, 3 lecture exams worth 60%. That means 20% apiece. 2 lab exams, 20% apiece. Everything's worth 20% apiece, right? Each exam, lecture exams, 20%. Each lab exams, 20%. You can't really ask me how you're doing because basically if you get a 70, 80, and a 90, you're pulling an 80. You just add them up and divide by that number. And this is the grading scheme. So that's the grade, everyone. Before we go on to the course outline, let's look at some chat questions, and then we'll go from there. Can you please email us the link in your YouTube that will be uploaded to record Zoom meetings? Madeline, I will try. If you have any advice, let me know. I'm going to try to put everything on a YouTube channel. I'm recording this, so I'm going to put this on there. You don't need to see this, but it's just as practice. And then I'll email you the YouTube channel. I'm going to do that right when I'm done with this. Taylor asked, do we email the answer sheet back to you when the time is up for the exam? Yes. That one I answered. Do we do the same with the labs? Yes. Same thing. Lab practicals, you have a time limit to do the lab practical. but not to finish the take-home labs. Take-home labs is on your own, all right? Are the tests the same format as AMP2? Junie asks. 25 questions and an hour. No, they will not be. If you have 25 questions, it'll be 25 minutes. If you have 40 questions, it'll be 40 minutes. So it's going to be about a minute a question. The nurses want it a little less time than that. You know, again, that's one of the things we tweaked because it can lend itself to cheating. That's a problem. So you want to gauge yourself for about a minute a question. So I just want to set expectations on the first day. What other goodies do we have? One more chat questions. I have a question. Is there any way I can purchase the textbook opposing to using the ebook? You got to go to the publisher and ask them for a hard copy. It's more expensive, but you know, I like a hard copy book, and I'm from the old days though. So if you go to kendallhunt.com, you can have them send you a hard copy of the text. That is an option. What other goodies do we have? Let's go through. Now I'm going to go through the course lecture schedule, the course lab schedule, and then I want to talk briefly about the, and then, you know, the materials and all that. And then I want to talk briefly about the 2 labs, and then you can go. So let's start with the course lecture schedule. Okay. You can read the preface, chapter 1, page 1 to 34 as preparation for the course. Those of you who've never had general bio. But I repeat, that will not be on the exam. That is pre-course preparation. Just so you know what is life, what is, the science method is in chapter 1. I put all that in there so everyone's on the same page. Some people have not had science class in ages, and it's nice. But again, this part will not be tested on the exam. Today we're doing the syllabus. See, I'm going to follow this schedule every day. We do the syllabus today, an intro to the course. Tomorrow we'll be doing the human body. And these are the pages, 381 to 395, 405 to 415. That's chapter 11. You might say, well, why are we starting with chapter 11? Well, because that's how the textbook is made. It's general bio with human anatomy and physiology. And so that human body part starts. Chapter 11 through 16 is the majority of the human body stuff. But anyway, so we start chapter 11. Those pages will give you an introduction to terms like complementarity, how the structure and the function of the body go hand in hand. It gives you an introduction to how the body is set up. It talks to you about we call it the hierarchy of life, how life is, and how our course addresses the small stuff and then moves on to the bigger stuff. In other words, we look at the chemistry and the physics behind how our body functions, all the way up to how the brain, the liver, the kidneys, the bones all work. But you have to understand the small stuff to understand the big stuff. And that's why we start with chemistry and cell bio. And usually I ask, how many people hate chemistry? And they, out of the 13, usually 12 raise their hand, And, I married a chemist. My best friend is a chemist. What can I say? Chemists have been part of my life. Chemistry, I dropped out of in 10th grade. Absolute fear of it. Density, oh my God, I thought that's weight. So, and then I became really interested in, I wouldn't say interested. I appreciated the value of chemistry and really understood it. Let me say that. And I appreciated it and understood it in terms of allied health and how medicine works. And I think you will appreciate that chapter. So on Thursday at 9, we'll be doing chapter 2, basic chemistry. So you want to read that. Then we're off. We have 4-day weekends. And then we'll do cell bio a week from today, chapter 3. We'll look at the cell and its cell activities. I'm planning on next Wednesday having exam 1. All right, that's my plan. And, we'll go from there. And then we'll move on. Next Thursday, we'll move on to histology. And that is the study of tissues. We start to look at how all the different tissues, now tissues are not, Markel paper products. Tissues are muscle, epithelial, nerve, and connective. Basically, the four groupings of cells in our body. Groups of cells that perform the same function, like, we call it epithelial cells, like covering your skin on your face. That would be a group of cells performing the same function. They look similar, and like the skin is covering you, they have the same function. That's histology. And you want to kind of group all of your cells of your body together. Then we move on to the skin and the immune system. Now, I have 2 lectures on that, and one is on the skin and one is on immunity, the defenses of the skin. So that's how I have that grouped. And then we move on to the muscles. And I'm thinking that your exam is going to happen right after the muscular, histology, skin, and then the muscles. And we'll put your exam there. And then we'll move on to the last exam unit, which is osteology, the study of bones, the nervous system, and the special senses and the brain. Those will be all from chapter 14, actually. It's kind of a large chapter, which deals with the control of the body. And then we'll have a little review at the end. If we have time, that may have to be scrapped. I'm not sure. It depends on how fast we go. But my plan is to have exam 3, the last day of class. So that will give us our 15 total weeks of work. We will, as we go through the Zoom lecture, we will have these labs. Again, you've been given these 2 labs today, the human body and the microscope lab. And those 2 labs introduce you to the concepts that we're going to be going over this week in the Zoom lecture. We move on to cell transport. Obviously, I don't want to keep alluding to what we do in the classroom because that doesn't matter at this point. We have a little experiment where you put chemicals into a bag. So why am I bringing it up? You're going to watch a video on it. You're going to learn the principles behind it. And I think that's the most important aspect of the lab anyway. And that's what we'll do next week. And next week you'll also have the week after you'll have a histology lab. I think we're going to do one lab next week, one lab the week after. And then we'll do a midterm lab practical. Histology is the study of tissues, like I said, and those tissues will be very visible as you go through the online interactive lab. So anyway, most of the interactions are through YouTube links and you're watching things and you're using your lab manual. And then we move on to the bones and muscles. This is for some of you are repeating the class and you just want to brush up. It's very good. Just brush up on what you didn't know and clean up so that you're ready for your career. And for those of you who are totally new, getbodysmart.com is a nice website for you to look at all the bones, muscles, and different anatomical parts from a more 3D perspective virtually. So you can kind of do that on your own and look up bones and muscles as you see fit. You have my manual, which gives you very good pictures of the tissues. You have a whole histology atlas that I address and is in the manual. You have a lot of bones and different perspectives in the manual, but sometimes you like to interact with it and click on it, and that's the getbodysmart.com site, which is free. The axial skeleton and the appendicular skeleton. The axial skeleton refers to the skull and the vertebrae. The appendicular, the word appendicular means appendage, arms and legs. So we're going to go through those guys. And then we're going to go through the muscles, and you're going to look at and identify the different types of muscles. And then you'll have your final lab practical. And the materials for the course are as follows. We're going to have an Essential Bio ebook. As I've told you, Kendall Hunt Publishers. This is the ISBN number. So you can get it anywhere. You're allowed to go to the publisher, you're allowed to go to our bookstore, whatever you prefer, but you got to have that ISBN number, and you got to have that manual with that ISBN number. Okay, these are the numbers that identify the book. That's what we're going to use. Materials, none. There shouldn't be any lab fee, okay? From what I understand, because it's all take-home labs. Attendance policy, well, presence is expected, and the college policy is used. So be there 9 o'clock each morning. If for some reason you absolutely cannot be, again, I'm going to record it on a YouTube channel, and we'll see how that works out. It should be no problem. Okay. Then the academic integrity policy. Students in the nursing program follow the integrity policy outlined by the School of Nursing. And I know that you get a 0 for cheating, basically, and then a failing grade for the course. So you don't want to do any of that. Cell phones, we don't have to talk about. These are all just general statements. Students with disabilities, you can read the academic adjustment policy, that we have here. And that is the material I wanted to cover today, our syllabus. Why don't I open up to questions? Let me start with, first I have to stop recording it. And I don't know how to stop recording this now. Wait a minute. Okay, stop.